Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another luxury fighter, and this one is called the GH Emissary, which is this lovely thing over here. So this is a very small, very sleek vehicle that features a rear cockpit and fancy landing gear made out of hinges and magnetic plates, where the magnetic plates sit on their sides. And there we go. Come all the way up to here and press F10, finding the GH Emissary in the spawn menu. There it is. This thing is only 535 small blocks, using the Wasteland and Decorative Block number 2 DLC packs. It uses no mods or scripts, and we can see everything about it on the Steam Workshop page right here. So we'll give this thing a thumbs up, we'll move all the way around to the very front. My character can now bugger off into the distance, there we go, and perhaps we can get some better sunlight. But anyway, all the way over to here at the very front of the GH Emissary, this is what we get. Front and center, we got ourselves a hydrogen thruster to help stop us. Hydrogen thrusters are the only form of thrust that appear on the ship, so they are good for pretty much everywhere. Just above that, we got 2 Gatling guns, which are the only weapons that appear on this ship, so we can do some light combat, but in general heavy combat, we will have to skedaddle away, and we'll hope we don't get damaged. Surrounding all of that, we then got some lovely clean white blocks, with some black blocks just below here, making up the base of the ship. If we were to move slightly around the side, what we're going to see is a couple more hydrogen thrusters, and we come across onto our first little wing, where once again we've got some hydrogen thrusters on this lovely little ball part, comes all the way down to our landing legs. So over to here, this is how our landing legs work. We've got ourselves a hinge which sits right there, comes across onto a steel plate, onto a magnetic plate, and it will simply lock itself in place. Over here we can see on the inside of this little thruster pod type area, we've got a bunch of hydrogen tanks to make sure we can fly for a nice long time. If we just come away from that and start to move to the edge of the wing, that's how that's all been set up. Then we've got some nice use of our armoured plates on the side there, acting as a little fin. So there we go, we come around to the back of that. There we are. There's a large hydrogen thruster to push us around to get some great speed out of this. It takes roughly 3 seconds to reach maximum speed, which is very, very fast. Yes, all the way over to here. This is our fighter cockpit to fly this thing around at the very back of the ship. So hopefully if you're flying towards danger, they'll destroy the front of the ship, and you can hopefully hop out with your life. Yes, just below that we can see a connector to dock this thing up. We can see our rear landing leg made out of our magnetic plate once again. Then all the way over to here, we've got ourselves a hinge which we can use to stockpile this up with hydrogen if you do have a setup that connects up to it. And then another hydrogen thruster to help us on our left and right. Coming all the way around towards the very back, that is what's going to push us along. So we've got 1 small hydrogen thruster and then the 2 on the wings. If we were just to drop down a little bit, we can see some conveyors just linking everything together. Some more hydrogen thrusters to keep us off the ground. We can see some more hydrogen tanks just sitting behind this landing leg. There is our connector, then right below there's our wings, even more hydrogen thrusters, and we can see our O2H2 generators, our oxygen tank. Make sure we don't suffocate if we spend an extended time on an oxygenless planet or just around space. Coming towards the front, there we go. And if you notice any damaged blocks, that is on my part, because we had a little accident. That's royal I had a little accident when spawning this in, because I dropped it from quite a height, and it seems to just bounce when it lands on those legs, and it just did a couple of somersaults. Anyway, if we were to look all the way down, there's our Gatling guns to blast our enemies, even more hydrogen thrusters, some great use out of our slope steel blocks with some decorative touches. There's once again our oxygen tank in a lovely gold colour. And going towards the back, there is our fighter cockpit, and a lone hydrogen thruster which we can switch off while on the planet, because it's only needed while in space. And there we go, that is a brief look around the outside of the GH Emissary, and it does look absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is just grab hold of my character, we'll go through the hotbar, and we'll just play around with the guns a bit against my target boards in the distance. Just walking all the way around over here, no need to jump, no need to jetpack, we can simply press F, and in we get. Bring up the HUD, we have 2 tabs which are basically the same, except one is for a planet and one is for space. The whole thing that makes them different is that the hydrogen thruster at the back there will be switched off. If we were to say turn that off, we turn that off, and then we come over to tab number 1, turn that on, all the thrusters will turn on except that one, because it's not needed on a planet. But as for the other controls, we just lift off the ground like this 2 and 3 is for our thruster overrides, so we can go into a cruise control setting if we wanted to. Number 4 is for our landing legs underneath, just to fold them all the way in. There we go, that's how that works. We do sort of tilt forwards a little bit if we let go of the controls. We'll get a closer look at this. All the way like that. I'll put my light on. Now I'll press number 4 again. There we go. That's just how they work. And you can see how the ship moves around when it opens and closes. Back into my character and pressing number 5. This is for our forward-facing thrusters, so we can actually go into a proper cruise control and not waste any fuel. Just doing that, they turn off. Now if we start moving, we go at a constant rate until we turn them back on. Then number 6 is simply for our landing legs at the bottom there to toggle the magnetic plate on and off so we can disconnect ourselves without pressing P. There we go with that, we just follow them all the way back. And then pressing number 9, that is simply for our Gatling guns to fire them both together. On tab number 2 is the exact same setup, and like I said, it's just for that thruster at the back there. So now what we can do is a very quick thruster test, and then we'll start shooting my target boards in the distance. So moving forwards, this is what we get. Like I said, it's a very, very fast ship, taking roughly 3 seconds to reach maximum speed. Coming to a stop or reversing to maximum speed, however, is going to take roughly 10 seconds. Left and right is going to be roughly 14. Moving up is going to take 12 seconds. And then moving down is going to take roughly 6 seconds. But bear in mind, I'm on a planet with 1.2 G's gravity, so that's going to be greatly affecting the up and down. Yes, whittling my mouse around, this is what we get. We have one hell of a lot of control over this, absolutely no weight whatsoever. It is extremely floaty and very odd to control. You don't really fly too many ships where the cockpit is at the back, and you sort of have the lead with the nose and predict where it's going. It does feel a little bit odd after flying so many ships with front cockpits. Yes, what we can do now is just come all the way across onto my little target boards, and we can shoot them to see how much damage it does, in case you've forgotten how much damage the Gatling guns actually deal for whatever reason. So here we go, we can now start shooting the light armor blocks at the top there. We can't zoom in because we've got no cameras. We can just keep on shooting, and now we can stop and get a better look at that. What kind of damage did we deal? We've gone through at least one layer of steel blocks. The heavy armored blocks, there we go, we can keep pummeling that. That's going to take quite some time to go through this. And then just stopping, we simply deformed it. And there we go, so we can do a little bit of damage, but like I said at the start of this video, we're going to be mainly running around, or running away from your enemies, and not properly engaging them. Those Gatling guns are only there for an emergency, say if a pesky drone comes up to you, and is lightly armed. So to finish off this video, I can only think of one thing to do, and that's of course slam it straight into my little target signs, and that'll be that for the GH Emissary. As per usual, there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around for yourself. I highly recommend you do because it is a fantastic looking ship, and you could get a lot of fun out of it. And so there we go, the joys of having a rear cockpit. We can still fly this thing around just about, and we're away from the danger zone. We've lost everything at the front, we can't slow down whatsoever, but we can move left, right, up, down, and we just keep on accelerating, perhaps do a 180 to try and bring ourselves to a stop. Yes, there we are, that is that. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.